Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, it is time to start going over all of the cards from OP14. Now, this is going to be a two-part series. We're going to go over the red, green, and blue cards in today's video. And then in the next video, it will be purple, black, and yellow. Alright? So just to give a quick update for all the newer players out there, or for people who just might not be aware, but in January, notice the background. January 16th, we get OP14, part of EB04, and ST29, the new Egghead Luffy starter deck. So January is looking to be very busy, and then directly after that, we get EB03 in February, okay? So we got to start preparing for all that. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Let's get right into today's video. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. This video is brought to you by Nin Garden. For the holiday season, they are running a special where you can grab any two playmats for just $60. And on top of that, you can still use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an additional 10% off. All right, guys, first up we have the red cards. And one thing I want to mention up front here quickly is I want to move very quickly through this review because there's about 120 cards in each set. So, yeah, so we have about 60 for today in part one for all of the red, green, and blue cards. I'm going to try to move through this pretty quickly. Now, if I'm moving a little bit too fast for you, my apologies up front. Do not be afraid to ask anything down in the comments section below. All right? So let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. First up, we have Trafalgar Law, 5,000 power, 5 life. 7 Warlords of the Sea, Supernova Heart Pirates type leader, with the effect activate main once per turn, select 2 of your Supernovas or Heart Pirates type characters, and swap the base power of the selected characters with each other during this turn. Okay, so, the stat line on this leader is absolutely fine. It's completely perfect. But I will say this. The effect is completely dependent on what kind of Supernova and Heart Pirates type character support we're going to see in this set and in the future. That will determine everything on how good this leader is. This is not exactly a generic effect that you can just build whatever you want around it. You have to build your deck in a way that it has enough Supernova or Heart Pirates type character support within it, or your effect doesn't really do anything. So that is a bit of a limiting factor, but it's still a good leader card, right? It's still very solid, 5,000 power, 5 life, mono red, and it's going to be able to swap power around. So imagine what that means. If you have a little 2,000 power character and a 7,000 power character, and they're both, Supernova or Heart Pirates type, no problem. You swing in with the 7,000 power character first, and then you swap the power around, and you swing in for 7,000 again with the little 2,000 power character. So it has a lot of potential for sure, but again, it will all depend on what kind of support that Bandai's willing to give this leader moving forward for red, Supernova, and Heart Pirates type stuff. One more thing I want to mention while we're on this leader card, guys. I've already done a full, I think I've made it into a playlist. I've already gone through all of the new leaders in how do I say this? I've already built decks for them and put them through games on the sim and stuff like that to kind of show off what each one can do. I will link that down in the comment section below for those who are interested, just to see these leaders in action, to kind of get a better grasp of what's going on with some of these new, mechanics we're seeing here, some of these new themes. Okay, let's keep going. Very nice. All right, so next up is the alt art. That looks very good. And now we have Uruj. So Uruj is a 3-cost, 2,000 power character with the Supernova and Fallen Monk Pirates type. The effect is when attacking, if this character has 5,000 power or more. Get used to that condition right there, guys. If this character has 5,000 power or more, draw 1 card and KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 base power or less. It is base power. Either way, though, guys, you are going to get to attack in and draw 1 card, and then you can KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 base power or less. And you're going to be swinging in for 5,000 or more, so this is actually a very solid character here, guys. I will say, big fan of this card, especially in early testing. This card seemed very solid within the Trafalgar Law deck. And one other thing I do want to mention is notice what it says, if this character has 5,000 power or more. So the obvious, thing that should come to mind here is, of course, using it with the leader's effect, comboing it with the leader's effect, using the power of a bigger character that's Heart Pirates or Supernova type, and then buffing from there. But if it's late enough in the game, and if you have enough characters that survive, you can just attach 3 Dawn, and now you're a 5,000 power character or more, and you can do whatever the effect says here, okay? And again, like I said, guys, get used to that condition there. If this character has 5,000 power or more, you're going to see that quite a few times over the course of all these red cards we're going to be going over. Either way, Rouge, very solid card. Okay, next up is Capone Gang Beige. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, Supernova Fire Tank Pirates type character with the effect, this character cannot be KO'd by effects of your opponent's characters with 5,000 base power or less. Okay, so this is kind of in reverse. This character can't be KO'd by your opponent's effects with characters that are 5,000 base power or less. It's too bad that it cannot be KO'd, period, by your opponent's characters with 5,000 base power or less, like by effects or in battle. However, it's not worded in that way, so this card, I'm sure there are a few applications where this can be very strong, especially against like 3-cost Black Brook from EB01, the 3-cost 4K that can KO a 1-cost character right when it comes into play. I guess it does have protection from a card like that. But other than that, I don't really see a huge reason to run this card. It seems like it doesn't do enough. And again, it doesn't protect them from battle. I have to really focus on that, guys. This character cannot be KO'd by effects of your opponent's characters with 5,000 base power or less. So we'll have to see, guys. If y'all can think of a really cool way to apply this card, and make it work in the current meta, by all means, share that in the comments section below. All right, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Cavendish. This is a 2-cost, 2,000 power, Dressrosa, Supernova, Beautiful Pirates type character with the effect, if this character has 5,000 power or more, this character gains Rush. Starting to get a little bit repetitive, right? If this character has 5,000 power or more. Very common theme in this set for red. But in this case, the character will get Rush. So not too much to talk about here. Just a very solid card. If you can slam this thing down and you have a 5,000 or higher power character that's Supernova or Heart Pirates type, you can swing with that character first, and then use your leader effect to swap the power of that character with Cavendish, and now you're attacking in right away with Rush. So really powerful combination here with the leader, Trafalgar Law. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is Killer. This is a 1-cost, 1,000 power character with a 1k counter, and Supernova and Kid Pirates type. With the effect, activate main once per turn, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. So this card is very much a standard card within red. We've seen this all the way back from Starter Deck 1 with Luffy. I think it was ST01 Luffy that had the red 1-cost Nami that does this exact same thing, but it's a Straw Hat type card. So not too much to talk about here. It's just a nice utility piece. It is a little 1-cost Supernova character that you can combo with your leader's effect, with it, the OP14 Trafalgar Law leader's effect, to get more value from it later in the game. But other than that, it's not a bad card. It just doesn't do a whole lot. Not too much to talk about here. All right, guys. Next up, we have Shashi and Penguin. This is a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, Heart Pirates type character with the effect, when attacking, if this character has 5,000 power or more, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. Okay, so the exact same condition, guys. The character has to have 5,000 power or more, which goes perfectly with the OP14 Trafalgar Law's leader effect. And in the case of this card here, when we attack, it's going to help us battle into the board by reducing the power of our opponent's characters by 2,000. Okay, not too much else to talk about here. A very solid card. Okay, next up we have Jory Bonnie. This is a 6-cost, 7,000 power, 2k counter character with the Supernova and Bonnie Pirates type, but this is a character with no base effect. It's just a 6-cost, 7k, 2k counter vanilla character. All right, moving on. Next up we have Scratchman Apu, another vanilla character. This time it's a 3-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter character with the Supernova and On-Air Pirates type. Okay. Moving on from there. All right, next up we have Trafalgar Law. This is a 9-cost, 10,000 power character with the 7 Warlords of the Sea, Supernova, and Heart Pirates type. The effect is Rush, and on your opponent's attack, Once per turn, you may trash 2 cards from your hand and then select your leader and 1 character and swap the base power of the selected cards with each other during this battle. So the main idea here, guys, I think is, okay, first of all, it's a 9-cost, 10,000 power character. So we're attacking in and, you know, doing some pretty big damage. However, the second effect there on your opponent's attack, that is a really nice defensive ability there, because think of it like this: if your opponent attacks into your leader for 9,000 power, okay, well that's going to cost you a minimum of 3 cards from your hand unless you have events to spare. But it's going to typically cost you a 2K, a 2K, and a 1K to get out of a 9,000 power attack. Well, with this effect here, we can actually trash 2 cards from our hand, so only 2 cards from our hand. And then we can select our leader and this character right here and swap the base power of the selected cards with each other during that battle. Now, again, you can swap it with whatever character you want to technically, but the main idea is this. You're going to be able to, you know, this is probably the primary target for it, is this character here, because they're a 10,000 power character. So if your opponent attacks in for 9,000 power into your leader, you go, okay, I'll trash 2 cards from my hand, and they could be 2 bricks, right, that you don't even need anymore. You can trash these 2 cards from your hand, swap our leader's power with this character's power, and now we have a 10,000 power character for that single battle there, and that could save us big time. So really, really solid card here, and it's a 9-cost, 10,000 power character with Rush. So remember, if we have any of those, and it is a Supernova and Heart Pirates type character, so later on in the game, if we have a few 2-cost characters, you know, these little 2-cost characters we've been looking at, where are they? These like Shashi and Penguin, or Killer, or Cavendish, or whoever, if we have some of those cards just laying around, well, now we're going to get to swing for 10,000 with this character, and then 10,000 with those characters by swapping their power around offensively. So really cool stuff here. Okay. Next up, nice, we have the altar. That looks really awesome. All right, next up we have Basil Hawkins. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power character with a 1K counter. The types are Supernova and Hawkins Pirates, and the effect is on KO, not on play, guys, on KO. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and play up to 1 Supernova type character card with 2,000 power or less other than Basil Hawkins. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is actually a really nice card for what Trafalgar Law, the leader, is trying to do. Because remember, guys, you want to swap power around, right? So, okay, if we can get this card down early enough, and then we, you know, a few turns later, or maybe the next turn, we play out a card that we can swap the power with to make this character attack in. Well, once these characters go sideways, we can't really defend them realistically, right? Maybe against a searcher's attack, but if they start attacking into these little characters, it is going to be almost impossible for us to save them, right? And here's the interesting thing. With a card like this, this is an on KO to do a top 5 search and play a character from the top 5 cards. So this is actually a kind of like a perfect searcher for Trafalgar Law. Big fan of this. Again, guys, you're going to do a top 5 search. You're going to find a Supernova type character not named Basil Hawkins with 2,000 power or less, and you're going to play it right to the board. Okay, so that is actually very, very nice, and it's going to help us keep the pressure up if we build the deck around a card like this. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Bartolomeo. This is a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 2K counter, Dressrosa, Supernova, and Bardo Club type character. With the effect Dawn ×2, this character gains blocker. Okay, so the main idea here, guys, is this is a 2-cost, 2,000 power Supernova card, and it has a 2K counter. So that goes perfectly with, you know, being able to play out these cards early on and then make them even bigger, you know, later on in the game by swapping their powers. And it's a 2K counter, and it goes perfectly with the card we just saw with Basil Hawkins. So yeah, not too much to say here. Great utility 2K counter. If you attach 2 Dawn to this character later on, it's going to have blocker as well. So really good stuff here. All right, next up we have Beppo. This is a 2-cost, 2,000 power character with a 1K counter, and the types are Minx and Heart Pirates. The effect is when attacking, if this character has 5,000 power or more, give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. Okay, so it's right on theme for what we've been seeing. If we can get this character up to 5,000 power or more, we can give 2 free Dawn cards, 2 rested Dawn cards to our leader or one of our characters. Pretty solid, not too much else to talk about here. Okay, next up is Monkey D. Luffy. So this is a 1 cost, 0 power, 1k counter character with the Supernova and Straw Hat Crew type. With the effect on play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Supernova type card other than Monkey D. Luffy and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then we have a when attacking effect that says give up to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. So remember, guys, it doesn't really matter that we have 0 power for this card. We're actually going to swap the power of this card with something bigger with our leader's effect and attack in from there. And when we do attack, we can give one of our opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. So very solid searcher here, top 5 search. But one thing I want to draw everyone's attention to real quick is notice this is a Supernova searcher. And I do have to go backwards real quick, guys. I do apologize. We got to go backwards. Beppo is not a Supernova card, which is relevant for more than one reason. Number 1, we can't search it with this Monkey D. Luffy. And number 2, we can't play it out off of Basil Hawkins. Really keep that in mind, guys, when you think about these cards and like the synergy between them. Because when I was putting the deck together to test this out, that was a big like brick wall that I ran into. Was some of these cards like the Beppo in particular and the Shashi and Penguin. Let's go back just a little bit, guys. My apologies. The Shashi and Penguin, this is a Heart Pirates type card. It's not Supernova. So we can't cheat it out off of the Basil Hawkins, and we can't search it up with our Luffy, unfortunately. Okay? Alright, so that's Monkey D. Luffy, guys. Top 5 searcher, and it has a when attacking. We can swap the power around with our leader's effect and really start smashing into our opponent. Very, very good card for the deck. Okay, and there's the Altart. This looks awesome as well. Very cool Altart. A lot of action going on here. Alright, next up we have Eustace Captain Kidd. This is a 4 cost, 5,000 power character with a 1k counter. The type is Supernova and Kid Pirates. And the effect is blocker. And then on play, if your leader has the Supernova type, play up to 1 red character card with 2,000 power or less from your hand. So guys, I have to say, this card is really nice for what we're trying to do within Trafalgar Law. Playing out a 4 cost 5k body on curve, it has a 1k counter, it's Supernova searchable, it has a blocker, and unlike some of the other stuff we just talked about with the Supernova, specificity, this card just needs your leader to be Supernova. We can still play out a 2,000 power or lower card from our hand, no matter what type it is. We just need our leader to be Supernova. So this card is really excellent. It's going to help us protect some of our smaller characters on the next turn. And yeah, it helps us flood the board at the same time. Really, really good stuff here. It's Supernova searchable and it's a 1k counter. Just a great all-around card. Okay, next up. We have Zoro. Okay, Zoro is a 7 cost, 8,000 power character with the Supernova and Straw Hat Crew type. The effect is Rush, and when attacking, give up to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. Okay, so that's very much like the Searcher Luffy that we looked at earlier, right? So 7 cost 8k, and this is Supernova. So finally we see a big card. Well, I guess we already saw the 9 cost 10k Trafalgar Law, but that was a 9 cost. It takes a while to get to that in the game, right? 7 cost, we can get to that an entire turn earlier, and we can keep the pressure on with a rush card, and then we're buffing our smaller characters. This is actually a very, very nice card in general. One thing I always try to do whenever we're doing these reviews, guys, is I try to mention cards that are just good, period, just no matter what you're playing. And this Zoro can go in any red deck and be good. It's just a 7 cost 8k rusher that has an attacking effect to reduce the power of a character by 1,000. So this is just strictly a good card in general, but it's also going to be excellent in the Trafalgar Law leader. Okay, next up. Very cool. We get the Altart for it. That looks awesome. Okay, and then we have X-Drake, 5 cost, 7,000 power, Supernova, Navy, Drake Pirates type character with the effect, opponent's turn once per turn. If your Supernova's type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may give your leader minus 2,000 power during this turn instead. Okay, and that's for the turn, okay? Dawn times 1, when attacking, give up to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. So that's a very interesting opponent's turn effect there, I have to say. If your Supernova's type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may give your leader minus 2,000 power during this turn. So you better be pretty careful, right? You better be very careful if your opponent tries to remove one of your characters with some type of effect and then you save it with this card, well, now you have a 3,000 power leader for the rest of the turn. You have to be very, very careful with that. Make sure you either have some blockers to survive off of, or the 9-cost 10,000 power Trafalgar Law's effect to survive off of, or whatever. Whatever you need to get around that, because that is dangerous territory there. Going down to a 3,000 power leader for the remainder of the turn, if your opponent's wide enough on the board, you could be in a lot of trouble. But other than that, 5-cost 7k, very powerful card here. It is Supernova type, so as soon as you get to your 5-Dawn turn, you could swap the power of this character with one of your smaller characters, and you're just beating your opponent down. And then the Dawn ×1 when attacking effect is not bad either. That's going to help you battle for the board. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, on to the red events here, guys. So we have, I think it's called Shambles. Is that how you pronounce that one? Sorry, guys, if I butchered it. But we have a 3-cost event here. It is the 7 Warlords of the Sea, Supernova, and Heart Pirates type with the effect, main, select 2 of your opponent's characters with 9,000 base power or less, and swap the base power of the selected characters with each other during this turn. So you're going to be swapping around base powers here as long as they're 9,000 power or lower characters. This card does have some potential for sure, because if your opponent has like some little 1-cost searchers on the board, and then like a bigger character, like maybe a 6,000 or 7,000 power character, and you just want to be able to deal with that card very easily, no problem. You can use this event here, swap the little searcher over, swap the 2,000 power searchers, power, I guess, over to the bigger character, and swap the bigger character's power to the searcher, because you don't care about that card anymore, and then you could attack into the smaller character now. It has some, it definitely has some applications, but who knows if you're going to be able to find room in the deck to actually have a few of these in there. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is Time for the Counterattack. This is a 1-cost 7 Warlords of the Sea, Supernova, and Heart Pirates type of event with the effect counter if there is a character with 8,000 power or more. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. And this just says if there is a character with 8,000 power or more, it could be on your side or on your opponent's side. If there is a character with 8,000 power or more, up to one of your leaders or character cards gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. And then trigger, play up to 1 red character card with 2,000 power or less from your hand. So the trigger is, it makes sense within OP14's, Trafalgar Law, Supernova theme. But other than that, it's not the craziest trigger, that's for sure. Okay, but a 1-cost 4K is never worth, you should definitely always consider that. It's definitely worth considering. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have, I have a plan to take down one of the 4 emperors. Okay, so this is a 1-cost event with the type 7 Warlords of the Sea, Supernova, and Heart Pirates. And the effect is main, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, and then reveal up to 1 Supernova or Straw Hat Crew type character cards and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then trigger, draw 1 card. Very solid trigger there, very generically good. And this is just a very generically good searcher event as well, right? This is a 1-cost top 4 searcher for Supernova or Straw Hat type character cards. Now notice it does say it can only be character cards. It does not search up events, but that's still very solid. And here we go again. I just want to mention this one more time. Remember what we talked about earlier with the Basil Hawkins and the Searcher Luffy? Those can really only hit Supernova type cards. And in the case of this event here, it can hit Straw Hat Crew cards as well. That's fine. But one thing I have to say, guys, if you're trying to build a deck for Trafalgar Law from OP14, I would really try to focus in on the Supernova stuff. That's where I had the most success. But hey, if you can make something else work, by all means, share that with everybody in the comment section below. All right, guys, now we're over to the green cards, starting off with Dracula Mihawk, the leader, 5 life, 5,000 power, 7 Warlords of the Sea type, with the effect, if your opponent's leader has the slash attribute, this leader gains plus 1,000 power. That is just a passively good effect against any slash attribute leader. Very, very powerful. And then we have an activate main once per turn effect that says you may rest one of your cards. So that could be a Dawn card. It could even be this leader card. It could be a character card, a stage, whatever. You may rest one of your cards. And if there is a character with a cost of 5 or more, set up to 3 of your Dawn cards as active. Then you cannot play character cards during this turn. Okay, so weird limitation in there, how you have to have a character with how there has to be a character with a cost of 5 or more. It just says if there is a character with a cost of 5 or more. So it could be your character or your opponent's character. Very weird stipulation there, or condition, where there has to be a cost 5 or more character on the field. But who knows? Maybe they did that for balance purposes. Whatever the case is, there's a lot of potential behind this effect here, guys. Even though you cannot play characters after using the effect, you're getting 3 extra Dawn a turn with an effect like that. Okay, let's keep going. All right, we have the alt art. That looks really awesome. All right, next up we have Isho. This is a 6 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter, Dressrosa Navy type character with the effect your turn when this character becomes rested. Okay, get used to that condition in green, guys. So remember, for red, the major condition was when this character has 5,000 power or more. Okay, or however they specifically worded that. It had to have, it had to do with a character being 5,000 power or more. Well, in green, the main theme, the main idea to look out for is when this character becomes rested. And remember what we just saw with our leader's effect. We can rest one of our cards to stand 3 Dawn as active. Okay, so really tune in on that, guys. That's the design idea, the design theme for green in OP14. So with Isho, he says on your turn, when this character becomes rested, you may add 1 card from the top of your life cards to your hand. Okay, and if you do, up to 1 of your opponent's rested characters or stages will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. Now, that is a pretty steep cost there, guys, having to add a life card to your hand. However, being able to lock down a character or a stage that's already been rested, that's a very powerful effect as well. Now, one more thing I want to mention with this theme here, the when this character becomes rested. Remember, guys, understand what that means. That means you can rest it with your leader's effect or with some other effect or even attacking. Okay, so if you have any way to rest this character on your turn, notice it does have to be on your turn right here. If you have any way to rest this character, then you can do that effect. So whether it be from your leader or some type of other effect, or just from attacking. Whenever you attack, you rest a character, and it's your turn, so you get to do the effect. So really, really powerful stuff going on here for green, especially with Isho, being able to lock stuff down. Really good stuff there. Okay, next up we have Usopp. Usopp is a 4 cost, 5,000 power film Straw Hat Crew type character with the effect end of your turn. If your leader has the film or Straw Hat Crew type, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, so this is clearly not meant for Dracula Mihawk. This is meant for some other leader, maybe Red Green Luffy from OP13 or something like that. But this effect cannot even work for Dracula Mihawk because their type is not film or Straw Hat Crew. They were only 7 Warlords of the Sea. But either way, for the decks that this card does apply to, with a film and Straw Hat Crew type leaders, setting up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of your turn can be a very powerful effect. And this is a 4 cost 5k with a 1k counter. It's going to be film and Straw Hat Crew searchable, which would be perfect for whatever leader it is you're running that's film or Straw Hat Crew. And then again, setting 2 Dawn up as active at the end of your turn seems pretty good to me. Not too much else to talk about here. Okay, next up is Kikanojo. This is a 1 cost, 2,000 power, 2k counter, Land of Wano, and Akazaya 9 type character with the effect, end of your turn, set this character as active. So guys, this is a great utility 2k counter for your Dracula Mihawk leader, right? Because we can use this card as a way to use our leader effect every single turn. We can just rest down this Kikanojo, and as long as there's a character with a cost of 5 on the board, we'll be able to stand 3 Dawn as active. So this is a great card to help get around that, that extra cost of having to tap down one of our characters or one of our cards. It's like, okay, if I tap down a character, it might get KO'd if it's a small enough character like this. Well, no problem. Kikanojo has end of your turn set this character as active. So again, just a really high quality, solid 2k counter for Dracula Mihawk. Okay. Next up, we have Kinemon. This is a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter character with the Land of Wano and Akazaya 9 type. The effect is on play, set up to 3 of your Dawn cards as active. Then you cannot play character cards during this turn. Well, that's pretty interesting, right, guys? Because if you play this card out and use the effect of Dracula Mihawk, Kinemon will stand up 3 Dawn, and the Dracula Mihawk will stand up 3 Dawn. So that's 6 extra Dawn to play with for the turn. So that could be very interesting to see what kind of things you could pull off with that. Now, you can't play out any more characters after that, of course, but still, there could be some potential there. And then we have an on-KO effect here to rest up to one of your opponent's characters. Okay, so that if they ever attack into this character and KO it, it's not one of your opponent's characters. Rest up to one of your opponent's cards. So you can rest down a Dawn, a Leader, a Stage, a character, whatever's on the board. So really, really cool stuff there. And the art looks really awesome on this one. Check that out, guys. You got the moon in the background, some type of flames going around Kinemon. This looks really, really awesome. He's pulling out the sword there. You see the shimmer or the gleam of the blade there. Just looks really, really cool. But yeah, another idea, I guess, that this could be for is, you're playing this out on a 4 Dawn turn, so maybe you're going second as Dracula Mihawk. You play this card out on 4. Well, there's probably not going to be a 5 cost or higher character on the board, so you won't be able to use your Leader's effect. However, this card just gets around that. So you can play out the Kinemon, stand 3 Dawn as active, and then attach 2 Dawn to your Leader, swing in for 7,000, and then you have 1 Dawn left to do whatever with, or however you wanted to do your turn. So really good stuff here. Okay. Next up, we have Kuro. This is a 7 cost, 8,000 power character, East Blue and Black Cat Pirates type, with the effect on play, if your leader is Kuro, okay, play up to 1 East Blue type character card with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. So first we saw with Usopp, where that was geared more towards film and Straw Hat crew type leaders, and then Kuro is built specifically for the leader Kuro. It's kind of interesting to me that they're using cards from a main set, in this case OP14, to help older leaders out. And I don't mind that at all. I just hope they give enough support for specific leaders while trying to do this. Typically speaking, what they will do to help out older leaders is they will put the support in, sometimes in promos, and then other times they will do it in EB sets, which stands for extra booster sets. And those typically help out the older leaders that might be losing a little bit of power due to power creep. They're not as powerful as they used to be. But here we go. In a main set here, we're seeing Kuro here, a 7 cost, 8,000 power character that can play up to 1 East Blue type character card with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. That is a massive tempo swing, guys. You're going to play out a 7 cost 8K and then a potential 6 cost 7K or 6 cost 8K vanilla or something like that. This has some potential for sure. Really good stuff here. All right, next up we have Kazuki Odin. This is a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter, Land of Wano and Kazuki clan type character with the effect on your opponent's turn. If this character is rested, this character gains plus 2,000 power. Okay, I guess this is just a nice little utility 2K counter. I mean, this is a 4 cost, 5,000 power character, which is not too bad. And then if this character is rested, it's a 7,000 power character. So, but that's only on your opponent's turn. So it's not like you get to attack in and it's attacking for 7 because it's rested. No, it's if this character is rested on your opponent's turn, this character gains plus 2,000 power. But that's still very good because we can attack in with it. And now if they want to get rid of this card, it's going to be a 7,000 power character on their turn. So it's definitely a pretty interesting card. But I think there's better utility 2K counters to run in general. But again, not a bad card, just kind of a... I'm not really sure what's going on here. Maybe this is actually intended for some type of red-green Odin or green Odin type of deck. Not exactly sure. If you guys have any ideas, tell me in the comment section below. All right, let's keep going. Next up is Shanks. All right, Shanks is a 7 cost, 9,000 power character with the East Blue, 4 Emperors, and Red Hair Pirates type. And the effect is on your turn when this character becomes rested. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with 7,000 base power or less. Okay, we're going to talk about that in just a second. And then on your opponent's turn, if this character is rested, give all of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power. Guys, that your turn effect with Dracula Mihawk is absolutely incredible. Because think of it like this. If you're going first and you play this out on curve on 7, first of all, it's a 9,000 power character. It is massive. Shanks is an absolutely massive character. But if you're playing this card out on curve, typically speaking, the biggest character your opponent's going to play out on 6 would be a 7,000 power character. There are some 6 cost 8,000 power characters, but generally speaking, what you're going to see for your opponent's, turn 3 play, I guess it would be, think about it. Your turn 3 would be 5 Dawn. Their turn 3 would be 6 Dawn. Again, this is if you're going first. Well, on 6 Dawn, they're probably going to play out something like, if they're playing yellow, it might be a 6 cost 7K Akuma. whatever color it might be. They might even play out a 4 or 5 cost character that's like 6,000 power or less, or 7,000 power or less, or whatever. Well, guys, if they do something like that and you play out this Shanks, you're going to be able to tap it down immediately by resting this character with your leader's effect and then standing 3 Dawn as active, and then you can attack into it. And then on your opponent's turn, all of their characters get minus 1,000 power because you rested this character, and it's a 9k character. It's going to be so hard for them to deal with it. A 7 cost 9,000 power character, that's actually very hard to deal with right now. So really, really good stuff here. Okay, next up is the Altar. This looks amazing. All right, then we have Johnny. Johnny is a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, East Blue character with the effect on your turn. When this character becomes rested, KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 2 or less. Okay, so again, on your turn, you'll be able to rest this card down right away with your leader effect to KO a 2 or less. Not too bad, but also nothing too crazy here. All right. Next up, we have Tashigi. Tashigi is a 5-cost, 6,000 power character with a Navy type and a 1k counter. The effect is opponent's turn. If this character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may rest one of your cards instead. Okay? That is not a once per turn effect. That is an opponent's turn effect. And then activate main once per turn. You may rest 2 of your cards, and this character gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase. Now, that is a once per turn effect, but still, that turns your Tashigi into a 8,000 power character. This card is very, very strong. It helps play around removal, obviously. This is just a great 5-cost card to get down as soon as possible in Dracula Mihawk. And now you have a card on the board they just can't remove easily. And now you have a 5-cost character on the board, so you can, use your leader's effect and get extra value like that. Just an all-around very good card in that kind of deck. Okay, let's keep going. Not too much to talk about here, guys. This is just an incredibly solid card. I don't want to spend much time on it. Just being a 5-cost 6k with a 1k counter. Rest 2 cards. Just 2 of your cards. It can be Dawn, stages, characters, whatever. And this character becomes plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase. And it has built-in protection. Absolutely incredible card here. Okay, next up is Chaka and Pell. This is a 6-cost, 7,000 power Alabasta character with no base effect. Just a 6-cost, 7k, 2k counter vanilla. All right, then we have Nami. Nami is a 4-cost, 2,000 power character with a 1k counter, film, and Straw Hat Crew type with the effect blocker, and on play, rest up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 8 or less. Then set up to 5 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. So I think this card is actually meant for red-green Luffy more than anything, but this is just a generically good card. It is a 4-cost, it's a 2,000 power character, that doesn't matter, it's just meant to be a 4-cost cheap blocker, and it has a 1k counter. And then on play, you're resting up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 8 or less. You're just getting around any kind of blockers anyone can play. I mean, there's only one blocker that gets around this that I can think of off the top of my head, and that's the 10-cost blue Edward Newgate. I think people call it Blocker Beard. But yeah, and then you're setting up to 5 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. Seems good to me. Really, really solid character here. Okay, trying to pick up the pace, guys. I'm taking forever. This alt art looks incredible. Next up, we have Human Drill. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 2k counter character, Animal type, and Muggy Kingdom. And the effect is your turn. When this character becomes rested, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Okay, now we're talking. This is a 2k counter character here, right? And it has the utility, the your turn effect is when this character becomes rested, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So when you attack with this character, or if you use your leader's effect, as long as you have a 5-cost character on the board, right? That's the main thing you want to look out for to get the full effect of your leader to stand up to Dawn. But I believe, someone correct me in the comment section below if I'm off on this, I believe you can still use your leader effect to rest down your characters, but if you don't have a 5-cost, or if there's not a 5-cost or higher character in play, you just don't get to stand the 3 Dawn. Either way, really nice effect here, resting this card down to rest down to 4 or less, and now you can attack into it and go from there. Or if it's like a blocker you need to get around, just a really high utility 2k counter for Dracula Mihawk. This card is incredible. Okay, next up we have Perona, 5-cost, 6,000 power character with a 1k counter, Muggy Kingdom and Thriller Bark Pirates type, with the effect on play, up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less cannot become rested or cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next end phase. That means no blocking, no attacking. Very powerful effect. And then on KO, you may rest one of your cards and play up to 1 green character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Guys, I have to say right now, this card is one of my favorite cards, I think, from OP14. It might not be my literal favorite card. I think we'll see that in part 2 of this little series we're doing here. But I have to say, this is one of my favorite cards in OP14. Very powerful. 5 cost, 6k, 1k counter body. Already solid. And then locking down 2 attacks or blockers until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then on KO, it replaces itself as long as you can rest a card. Seems really, really solid. Okay, there's the alt art. Looks really good. All right, guys. Next up, we have Monkey D. Luffy. This is a 3 cost, 3000 power, 1k counter character with the types Film, Supernova, and Straw Hat Crew. With the effect, your turn, all of your green Straw Hat Crew type characters with a base cost of 4 or more gain plus 1000 power. And then once per turn, if your Straw Hat Crew type character would be KO'd by your opponent's effect, you may rest one of your characters instead. Okay, so we have some built-in, KO prevention. Let me see something. If your Straw Hat Crew type character would be KO'd by your opponent's effect. Okay, so it does not save them from battle KO, but it does save them from effects. So this is not bad. You just have to be able to rest one of your characters to do that. And then this character on your turn, it does buff all of your green Straw Hat Crew characters with a cost of 4 or more. I wonder if they did that because of green-purple Luffy. Maybe that was the idea. Maybe this would have been too strong in green-purple Luffy, buffing like your Sanji and Pudding or something maybe, or maybe even the Rush Luffy. That must be why they did that. Not exactly sure otherwise. But hey, it's still a very powerful card. I think people call these liege cards in like Magic the Gathering where they can buff your characters and stuff like that. I've yet to see a really powerful version of a liege card in One Piece outside of leader effects like Zoro or Red Black Sabo. But still, I think this card is fine. The fact that it has built-in KO prevention is very solid, and then on your turn it's buffing all your characters. It probably has some pretty decent potential. Okay, next up we have Yosaku. This is a 2 cost, 2000 power, 1k counter East Blue type character with the effect your turn. When this character becomes rested, up to one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. Okay, so we have a 2 cost character, utility character here to tap down with something like Draco Mihawk's effect or maybe even attacking with it later on in the game. But as long as you can do it on your turn, if you can rest this character, you can lock down a 4 cost or lower character. Not too bad. All right, moving on to the green events, we have Strive to Surpass Me, Roronoa Zoro. Okay, this is a 1 cost event that is a East Blue and 7 Warlords of the Sea type. With the effect counter, you may rest one of your cards, okay? And then up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. And then the trigger says you may rest one of your cards to rest up to one of your opponent's characters with 7,000 base power or less. Wow, that trigger is actually massive. So guys, I think from what I'm seeing from a lot of these effects within green is you probably want to leave one Dawn active at all times when you're playing Dracula Mihawk, because who knows what kind of trigger or effect you might need to pull off, or you just need to rest one card. You might just want to always leave one Dawn as active, unless you can leave the stage up, which we'll look at in just a second. That's going to be after the events. There's a really nice stage in Zoro. Okay, so this event, guys, it's a 1 cost 4K, but it's a 1 cost event where you do have to rest one card as well, right? So it's, one Dawn and then rest one of your cards. It could be Dawn, a stage character, leader, whatever, but you have to be able to rest a Dawn to activate the event here, and then one card. You have to rest one card as well on top of that to get the plus 4,000 power battle buff during the battle. Okay, very nice. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have For Fun. This is a 1 cost East Blue 7 Warlords of the Sea type of event. With the effect main, you may rest 3 of your cards, KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with 7,000 base power or less. And then the counter can give your leader plus 3,000 power during this battle. Very nice. Okay, so this is just a nice 1 cost 3k utility counter for the leader. And the main effect, you just have to rest 3 of your cards. So that could be Dawn, your stage, character, leader, whatever. Okay, so that main effect is really not too bad, and it can KO a rested 7,000 base power character. Seems really, really good. All right, next up we have I Never Bother to Remember the Faces of Trash. That is quite the name of this event here. So this is a 1 cost 7 Warlords of the Sea type of event. With the effect main, you may rest 2 of your cards and draw 1 card and rest up to one of your opponent's characters with 7,000 base power or less. Okay, so that's pretty nice. You're going to get to draw a card from this effect and then rest a 7k base power or less. And then the counter is your leader gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. So another really solid one-cost 3,000 power utility event here for the leader. Really good stuff here. I like that this card might even be more effective in a lot of ways than the card we just looked at for fun, where this can KO a rested character with 7,000 base power or less. But if you're just trying to go for lethal, you just need to be able to rest down a blocker a lot of times. And this only costs 2 cards to rest, whereas this costs 3. The for fun card, you have to rest 3 of your cards in addition to the 1 cost. And for this one, you only have to rest 2 cards. And you're resting down a 7,000 base power lower character, and then you should be able to swing through. And it replaces itself if you're just trying to do it to get the board back. Yeah, really big fan of this card. A 1 cost 3k with that kind of utility, very, very solid. Okay, we got one more green card to go over. We have Coffin Boat. This is a 1 cost East Blue 7 Warlords of the Sea stage. And the effect is on play, if your leader is Dracula Mihawk, draw 1 card. And then at the end of your turn, if your leader is Dracula Mihawk, set up to one of your Dawn cards as active. The really nice thing about this stage, with it being for Dracula Mihawk, number 1, it replaces itself right when you play it. But number 2, is this is a great card to just rest down with all the effects that we saw where you had to rest a card. Well, stages on the board are cards you can rest for those kind of effects. So really, really good stuff here. This is a perfect addition to Dracula Mihawk for what they're trying to do. Okay, moving on to the blue cards. We have Jinbei. This is a 5 life, 5,000 power, Fishman, 7 Warlords of the Sea, and Sun Pirates type leader. With the effect, activate main, you may trash 1 card from your hand and give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to one of your Fishman or Merfolk type leader or character cards. Okay, so I will say this right away for those who are not aware or for those who may not have noticed, that is not a once per turn effect. And yes, this effect is locked to Fishman and Merfolk type characters and the leader, of course, but that effect is very, very powerful. But it does fall under the same idea as what we saw with Red Trafalgar Law, where this leader's, true strength is going to really rely on how much support Bandai wants to give it in the Fishman and Merfolk, typing. We'll have to see what happens there. But otherwise, guys, this is just an absolutely incredible effect here. Blue is known for having a ton of card draw in this game. So, yep, you just draw a bunch of cards, and then you start trashing the cards for extra, almost like they're extra resources with an effect like this to attach rested Dawn cards to your leader or Fishman / Merfolk characters. Really good stuff here. Okay, there's the alt art. Looks awesome. Okay, then we have Boa Hancock. This is a blue and yellow leader, 4 life, 5,000 power, 7 Warlords of the Sea, and Kuja Pirates type, with the effect, opponent's turn, when you play a character, draw a card, okay? That's on your opponent's turn. When you play a character, draw 1 card. And then Dawn ×1 once per turn when one of your Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates type characters with 5,000 base power or more is KO'd, add up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards to the owner's hand. So with 1 Dawn attached to your leaders or to your leader on your opponent's turn, if one of your Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates type characters with 5,000 base power or more gets KO'd, your opponent burns up a life. Really, really powerful leader effects here. It's got the blue built in with the opponent's turn effect. Whenever you play out a character, you get to draw a card, and that is on your opponent's turn. So it's kind of a blue and yellow effect, right? Because like a trigger body, triggers are much more, you see a lot more triggers in the color yellow in this game. So when you play out one of those characters on your opponent's turn, you get to draw a card. And then the Dawn ×1 effect once per turn, you're removing your opponent's life, right? So then you have another yellow effect built in. Really, really powerful leader effects going on here. So then we have the alt art. This looks amazing. All right, guys. Next up, we have Arlong. This is a 1 cost, 3,000 power, Fishman Sun Pirates type character with the effect, on play, if your leader has the Fishman type, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 card with a cost of 2 or more and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So notice that, guys. It doesn't matter what type of card it is. It doesn't even check for the color, but your leader does have to obviously be like a blue Fishman leader, like how Jinbei is. But still, this just says reveal up to 1 card with a cost of 2 or more and add it to your hand. That's it. Really, really powerful card. And one thing to really notice is there's a reason this is not your standard Searcher body where it's a 1-cost 2K with a 1K counter. That's your standard Searcher frame. This is a 1-cost 3K with no counter. Okay, so what's the big deal? Who cares? They got rid of the 1K counter and added it to the power. It's more complicated than that, actually, or it's deeper than that. It's not really more complicated, but it actually goes deeper than that. Understand how the leader effect works. Whenever we trash a card from our hand, we can attach 2 Rested Dawn cards to one of our Fishman or Merfolk type characters, right? Okay, well, if we trash 1 card and attach 2 Dawn to our character here, we get to swing for 5,000, which is the, you know, there are some 6,000 power leaders in the game, right? There's even 7,000 power leaders in the game now, but still the standard power leader in the game is 5,000. That's what the overwhelming majority of leaders are right now, is 5,000 power leaders. Okay, well, just trashing 1 card from our hand, and we're swinging for 5,000 with this character. So really well designed there by Bandai. You know, this card is actually very powerful. And that might be the strongest searcher I've ever seen. Top 4 search. It can search up any type card that costs 2 or more. Really, really good searcher there. It's too bad it's locked to Fishman type leaders only. Oh, well. Oh, well, it is what it is. I'm sure that's for balance reasons, right? Okay, very, very solid alt art here. Looks really cool. Okay, then we have Aladdin. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter, Merfolk Sun Pirates type character with the effect on play up to 1 Fishman or Merfolk type character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. And then on KO, draw a card. So that is a theme. I tried to mention the themes for each one of these colors now. Remember, red, it was with having the characters get to 5,000 power or more. With green, it was all about, you know, resting a card to get a special effect. And then with blue, it's going to be all about drawing cards and just trying to like go hand neutral or hand positive. It's going to be all about drawing cards, because let me say this. I should have mentioned this more when we went over the leaders. Most of the blue stuff in OP14 is going to be geared towards Jinbei. Okay, there might be a few other cards in here, you know, mixed throughout, but the main support for Jinbei is, of course, blue, whereas blue-yellow Boa is going to get a lot of their support from yellow as well, right? They might have some blue support cards, I just can't remember. Okay, so with the blue stuff here, with the blue theme, it's going to be all about, you know, having cards that are super, super efficient. And in the case of Arlong, we're playing this out. It replaces itself right away, right? Because we play a card out from our hand, so we go -1 in hand, but then we do a top 4 search and we get the card right back. So we went hand neutral. We didn't actually go -1 in hand. Our hand remained the same, which is going to be very important for our leader effect. Okay, then we get to Aladdin here. Now this card, we play this out, and it lets us cheat out another card, a 3-cost or lower Fishman or Merfolk type character. But then on KO, the card replaces itself. So we're not scared to attack in with these characters. We actually want to, and then we can get additional effects, like in this case with the on KO. Really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Edward Newgate. This is an 8-cost, 8,000 power character with a 1K counter, 4 Emperors and Whitebeard Pirates type with the effect Blocker, and on play, reveal 1 card from the top of your deck, and if that card's type includes Whitebeard Pirates, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Okay, so this is kind of like a miniature version of the 10-cost, 12,000 power Edward Newgate. That's just a blocker. It's a 10-cost, 12K blocker with draw 2, trash 1, and attach 2 Rested Dawn cards to a character and 2 Dawn to a leader. This is like a much smaller version of that, a much weaker version that requires you to reveal the top card of your deck, and it has to be a Whitebeard Pirates card to draw 2, trash 1. Now, of course, this is a common card, whereas the 10-cost, 12K Edward Newgate, that's an SR. Either way, I think this card's fine, you know, and it's definitely a very solid card in something like Sealed. But, you know, regardless, this is a, you know, the card, this character's fine. It's got the 1K counter as well, which is nice, and it's an 8K blocker at the end of the day. The on-play effect might not even always go off, but just putting down an 8-cost 8K blocker and it's not a brick in hand, you know, not a bad card at all. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Karubi. This is a 3-cost, 3,000 power, 1K counter, Fishman, Sun Pirates type character with the effect, when a card is trashed from your hand by an effect, this character gains Rush during this turn. That's another theme I should have mentioned, guys, within this whole blue Fishman and the Fishman and Merfolk theme for Jinbei. is when you trash a card from your hand, which is built into your leader's effect, when you trash a card from your hand, you can get an additional effect. Okay, and in the case of Karubi here, whenever you trash a card from your hand, this character gains rush for the turn. And then on KO, here we are again, drawing a card and replacing itself. So in this case, what you can do is you can play out Karubi for 3 and then trash a card from your hand with your leader's effect to attach 2 Dawn to Karubi, and now he also has rush. So this is a really nice aggressive card option for Jinbei. Really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Koala. This is a 2-cost, 0-power, 2k counter. Full Shout Island is the type. With the effect Activate Main, you may trash this character, and up to one of your Fishman or Merfolk type leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. Okay, that is during this turn because it's an Activate Main, of course, but it's just meant to be a nice little buff. I'm not exactly sure what they're going for here, to be honest, guys. Trash this character, and up to one of your Fishman or Merfolk type leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. You could just use 2 Dawn that you would use to play out this character to buff this card, right? You could just do that. But I guess at the same time, in this deck, you would be able to play this out for 2 and then trash it to give your, Fishman or Merfolk type leader or character plus 2,000, and then trash a card from your hand to use the 2 Dawn you just spent this, to play this card out to get 2 more Dawn, 2 rested Dawn on your leader. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. That is kind of cool. It's very much thematic for what Jinbei's trying to do. So it's almost like this is a 2-cost 4K if you trash a card from your hand. That's almost like the way I have to imagine it in my mind, is I need to pay 2 to play this card out and trash a card from my hand, and it's like I get like plus 4,000 power by attaching 2 Dawn to whatever the character is and the plus 2,000 power buff from this. So not too bad. Cool effect here, definitely thematic, like I said, for Jinbei, but who knows? Typically speaking, when it comes to your 2K counters, you want to have cards that have the most utility as possible, and this card's kind of just meant to be more aggressive, so we'll have to see what people want to do with this do with this card in the future. If they want to make Jinbei as aggressive as possible, this is probably the way to go. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Shirahoshi. This is a 4-cost, 0-power, 1k counter, Merfolk Fishman Island type character with the effect Blocker, and then on play, draw 1 card and play up to 1 Fishman or Merfolk type character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. Okay, so here we go right away, guys. We're playing out a 4-cost blocker, drawing a card to replace the card, but then we are playing out a 3-cost or lower Fishman or Merfolk type character card from our hand. It just has to be a cost of 3 or less. So that's, not bad. We get a blocker. We get to cheat out some characters. Really good stuff going on here. Not too much to talk about. But this is really good, though, being able to flood the board. And like I said, guys, a lot of these cards we've already seen, like Karubi, they have these on KOs to draw cards. So the cards are really trying to go neutral in hand. Like we saw with Aladdin, when he gets KO'd, we draw a card. With Arlong, it draws a card. I think we're going to see quite a few other cards that draw as well. So really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Shiryu. This is an 8-cost, 10,000 power character from Impel Down type. With the effect on play, return up to one of your opponent's characters to the owner's hand, and then trash all cards from your hand. So this is pretty interesting here. Definitely, I think this is meant to be more for like Emporio Ivankov maybe, or some type of deck like that, some type of blue deck that's trying to trash your entire hand. But this is an 8-cost, 10,000 power character that can bounce any character back to the owner's hand. And guys, it could be a 10-cost, whatever, it doesn't matter. This just returns one of your opponent's characters to the owner's hand, then trash all the cards from your hand. So pretty interesting effect there. I think this might go on curve. I can't remember the cost of all the cards within, the Ivankov Impel Down package, but I think there's a 6-cost Inazuma that people can play out that draws 2 cards if you have 2 or less cards in your hand at the end of your turn. So then if you have blue Ivankov, the leader, it's like, okay, end of your turn, you have 0 cards in hand, draw 2, and then the Inazuma says, okay, draw 2 more. So that could be a very nice curve where you just go 6-cost Inazuma, 8-cost Shiryu, and go from there. Very strong tempo play, and you're getting a brand new hand. Could be very, very cool. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Jinbei, guys. This is another 8-cost, 10,000 power character here. But this is Jinbei, which is a Fishman, 7 Warlords of the Sea, and Sun Pirates type character with the effect, when a card is trashed from your hand by an effect, this character gains Rush during this turn. So 8 costs 10k with Rush in Jinbei easily. And then on play, you may rest 2 of your Dawn cards and draw 2 cards and return up to 1 character with a cost of 7 or less to the owner's hand. So this is a great card to curve out with, guys, and just keep going with. You can just repeat Jinbeis one after another because look at what you're doing. So when you play one out on 8 Dawn, okay, no problem. You play it out for 8. You trash a card, you're smashing in for 10,000 and maybe even 7,000 actually with your leader first, and then 10,000 with this character to follow up. And then on the next turn, you can just chain together another Jinbei, and this time on play, you may rest 2 of your Dawn cards to draw 2 cards and return up to 1 character with a cost of 7 or less to the owner's hand. So then leader effect on that turn, trashing a card, attaching 2 more Dawn to your leader, and now you're swinging in for 7, 10, 10, and bouncing a 7 cost. Really powerful tempo play here, guys. This card is extremely powerful. Okay, next up we have the Altar. Looks good. And then we have Chu. Chu is a 1 cost, 3,000 power character, Fishman Sun Pirates type, with the effect on play, if your leader has the Fishman type, draw a card. Okay, excellent. So this is a great card to be able to cheat out with the Shirahoshi or the Aladdin or whatever. And like I was saying, guys, you play these cards out, they just replace themselves very efficiently. That's a really nice theme to see for Jinbei, especially given how his leader effect works. Okay, then we have Hachan, 1 cost, 3,000 power character. No, there's no counter on Chu or on Hachan, but this Hachan's 1 cost 3k with Fishman and Sun Pirates type, with the effect Dawn ×2 on KO, draw a card. Here we go again. So you just trash a card from your hand to attach 2 rested Dawn cards to Hachan. Well, now you're swinging for 5,000, and when your opponent goes to attack into them, on KO you're drawing the card back. So it replaces itself right away. Really good stuff here. All right, next up we have Hannibal. This is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter character, Impel Down type, with the effect Blocker, and on play, you may trash 3 cards from your hand. Okay, that's a lot of cards. You may trash 3 cards from your hand and play up to 1 Impel Down type character card with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. Okay, not bad. I feel like they need to make a blue-black Impel Down leader for the future, where you have all these ways to fill up your trash with cards, and then maybe you can play cards from your trash, which is generally more of like a black effect in this game. I think that'd be really cool. But as is, this is still a really cool card. You just have to play an Impel Down type character with the cost of 6 or less from your hand. That could be a massive tempo play, being able to go a 5 cost and a 6 cost on your 5 Dawn turn, and this is a blocker as well. Really, really good stuff here. It's just trashing 3 cards from your hand. That can be pretty rough. Okay, but it could go perfectly, like I said, with something like, I believe it was Ivankov's leader effect. Okay, next up we have Vista. This is a 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter, Whitebeard Pirates type character with the effect Blocker, and on your opponent's turn, if you have 7 or less cards in your hand, this character's base power becomes the same as your leader's base power. Okay. So 3 cost 4k, 1k counter blocker, and on your opponent's turn, if you have 7 or less cards in your hand, okay, this character's base power becomes the same as your leader's base power. So I think this is probably meant more for like a red-blue, red-blue ace than anything, because that way you can become a 6,000 power blocker for 3 Dawn. But otherwise, I don't really think it's that good, right? Because if you're just running this in, like, let's just say red-blue Marco, and you become a 5,000 power blocker, I don't really think that's that good. Am I misunderstanding something here, guys? This character's base power becomes the same as your leader. It doesn't become the same as your opponent's leader. It becomes the same power. This character's base power becomes the same as your leader's base power. Yeah, and he goes off base power. Interesting. I'm not really in love with this effect here, but I think it's probably decent for maybe red-blue ace. Okay, next up we have Fisher Tiger. This is a 6 cost, 7,000 power, Fishman Sun Pirates type character with the effect on play. If your leader has the Fishman type, draw 3 cards. Massive card draw here, guys, but here's the catch. At the end of your turn, you have to trash cards from your hand until you have 5 cards in your hand, okay? So, in other words, you can't just go super hand positive with a card like this. It's really just meant to refresh your hand if you dump too many cards early on, or if you're later on in the game. Think of it like this. The card was designed perfectly. Say you already have 5 cards in your hand, or let's say you have 6 cards in your hand, actually. You play out the Fisher Tiger to go down to 5 cards, and then you draw 3 to go up to 8. Well, now you can trash 3 cards from your hand, and you'll have 6 Dawn from playing out the Fisher Tiger already rested for your leader's effect. So I think that's how they designed this card. Very cool design here, very powerful card. It kind of works as a cycle card, but with your leader, you're buffing your board along the way. This is a really, really solid character here for Jinbei. All right, next up we have the Macro Gang. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 2K counter. It's just a vanilla character, the Macro Gang. They're a Fishman and Sun Pirates type of character, but they're just a 5-cost, 6K, 2K counter vanilla. Nothing too special here. Okay, then we have Watatsumi. Hopefully I said that correctly. It's a 3-cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter, Fishman, Sun Pirates type character with the effect, this character cannot attack. However, when a card is trashed from your hand by an effect, this character's effect is negated during this turn. So this is just a nice utility 2K counter. It's a 3-cost 5K. Remember, 3 cost is actually very relevant. What was it? Aladdin and Shirahoshi can cheat out 3-cost or lower characters. Well, this is a great card for that. And then as soon as we trash a card from our hand, you know, we can attack him with this character as well. Even though it says it cannot, you know, we can negate that effect by trashing a card from our hand for the turn. So really good stuff here. Let's keep going. Okay, guys, we're almost done. We're on the events now for blue. This one's called Don't Worry, I'm Here. This is a 2-cost Fishman, 7 Warlords of the Sea, and Sun Pirates type of event with the effect all of your Fishman or Merfolk type leader and character cards gain plus 1,000 power during this turn. And then trigger, draw 2 cards. So remember how the leader effect works for Jinbei. First of all, that trigger is incredible. Draw 2, we'll take that every time. But the whole idea is, okay, we want to fill our board out with all these little tiny characters, and then we can actually just pay 2 Dawn for this event and buff all of our Fishman or Merfolk type leader and character cards by 1,000 for the turn. Well, now we have 2 Dawn rested. Now we can trash a card from our hand with our leader's effect to give 2 Dawn to one of our characters or leaders, right? So you know, really well thought out card here. Not sure how, I feel like if this card, how do I say this? If you have 2 of these to combo, then I think it could be really insane, because I think the main idea would be, I think you kind of want to use this as like your alpha strike, I think is what they would call it, where you just want to go all in on the turn. So for example, if it's like at the end of the game, like, okay, we're going to pay 2 for this and then pay 2 for another one. My whole board is plus 2,000 now. And then I'm going to trash 2 cards from my hand to attach the 2 rested Dawn cards here and there. And then, you know, go from there. But either way, this is a very powerful effect. This might sound crazy, guys, but I almost would have rather this card have been something like a 4-cost event that gave all of our Fishman and Merfolk type leaders and characters plus 2,000 power for the turn. Either way, this is a really, really powerful effect here in the right situations. Okay, next up we have Ocean Current Shoulder Throw. This is a 2-cost Fishman, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Sun Pirates type of event. The main effect here says you may rest 3 of your Dawn cards, so that's 5 Dawn altogether. Play up to 1 Fishman type character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. Then return up to 1 character with 6,000 base power to the owner's hand. And then the counter is draw 1 card, and your leader gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. So it's a 2-cost 3K counter that draws you a card at the end of the day. It's only a 3K counter for your leader, though. Make sure you remember that. But the main effect for 5, you're cheating out a 3 cost, and you're bouncing a 6K or less to the owner's hand. Actually, then return up to 1 character with 6,000 base power to the owner's hand. So not 6,000 or less, 6,000 base power exactly. So yeah, not a huge fan of the main effect there, but the counter effect is very strong. Okay, let's keep going, guys. Please take me with you. I can be of great help to you. All right, that is the next event here. 1 cost, Fishman, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Sun Pirates type event with the effect main. If your leader is Jinbei and you have 2 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. So, hey, as long as you have 2 or less cards in your hand, you can draw 2 cards for 1 Dawn. And then trigger, return up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. Kind of a very situational card, but I do get what's going on here. This should also help you go all out on your final attack, where it's like, okay, I need more cards to pitch from my hand to do more effects. But again, I wish they would have built this around a 2 Dawn cost. It would have made more sense because of your leader's effect. If I pay 1 with this card, well, my leader effect can only give me, I think, up to 1 Dawn at that point, right? I don't remember the exact wording, but I think you can still attach 1 Dawn because I think it's up to 2 Dawn for each activation. So I need this to be a 2 Dawn effect here to really get the to get it working. I almost wish they had made this into a 2-cost event that said if your leader is Jinbei and you have maybe 3 or 4 less cards in hand, draw 2. Because as is, with it only being 1, it doesn't play perfectly into the leader's effect. Okay, let's keep going. And that's it, guys. All right, we will be taking up the purple cards in, I believe, tomorrow's video. If I have my schedule worked out properly, tomorrow we should be going over the purple, black, and yellow cards for OP14. All right, guys, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the outro on here real quick. Thank you to everybody who made it this far. I know these can be kind of, kind of boring going over all these new cards, but hey, we have to know what they do because these cards will be released in January, just a few weeks away for us over here in the West, especially for the pre-release. Okay, so yeah, one more thing I want to mention, guys, is like I was saying, OP14, this is going to be a 2-part set here. We did red, green, and blue for the first one. Then we're going to do purple, black, and yellow for the second one. I've already done a part 1 of EB04, but we can't do part 2 until they do the full spoiler on those cards so that I can cover those in the video. So that one will come out in the future sometime. I haven't forgotten about it. They just haven't put the cards out yet on the official site. All right, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, if you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, or using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, excuse me, a YouTube member or part of the Discord community, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. This community has been incredible. All right, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.